the money was coming in now. We were actually earning decent money. And we started to work with our second batch of editors after the first failure. We started to get on it again. And this is where things started to go well.
I'm finally figuring out how to remove myself a little bit and remove myself from all the editing and actually get other people doing the editing. I can line up the editing for them, which allows me space to be more creative in the other things, putting together more sales letters, putting together more things that are actually going to drive more traffic to people, as well as the back end, which pays the bills effectively currently. So currently sitting in the garden of an Airbnb. We've got an Airbnb here and there's a dog barking because there's someone at the door. Just putting through a lot of the stuff for the editors to get them on that stuff so that I can end up scheduling it and then we can move forward in the best direction possible. So we just came across finding a winning, well, it wasn't winning, but we just came across a pattern for content for a client. We then got a message from a client today that said, we reviewed it, we're reviewing it, it's not performing as well as these type of videos. So I'm like, okay, I get your point. We're gonna have to switch it up.
These are the problems that happen in business. But then also what I learned from this whole situation was setting boundaries from the start. I didn't do that. That's a lesson learned. And that's something that I've done ever since. And we've not had a problem with that ever since, have we? We've actually not. We've actually had very good people that we've worked with ever since. So lesson learned in a difficult way.
So just when literally this morning, I just started getting ahead of myself. Like, right, editors on board. They know what they're doing.
Literally, I had the workload off to the editors. We had content ready to be scheduled. And then it was like, no, we don't want to do that anymore. I was like, and I think we already paid for it.
Now I'm like, we're back to square one again. We're back to square one again. Say, oh no. But we move forward, we figure out a way. That's what we do.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do before you work with people. You have to sit in your expertise, which I didn't do. I lost my expertise and I lost my authority as what we were, because I didn't stand strong in who I was back then. Back then, it was only a little bit of time ago. But you learn that from experience. And ever since then, I've stood in my power when talking to people. And that's why it's working now.
I'm feeling super stressed right now. A lot of content that I had planned is just being completely changed. And the reason being is it wasn't performing well. And that's what you've got to do. If something's not working, you have to figure it out. And that is my role in a job, in like my position in my business, is to figure out the problems, iron them out, and find a solution. And that's effectively what I'm doing. So all the content that I had planned has gone completely scrapped, where I thought I was getting ahead of myself, completely scrapped. I'm shooting some content, as you can see over there. I've got my ring lights. I'm in an Airbnb, so I've only got partial stuff with me. I haven't got all my equipment. So I've got to do what I've got to do. I've got a cool little setup. But I don't have any way to clamp my microphone to the desk. It's going to have to balance.
And this is why we didn't want to travel and work, because we realized that I sometimes forgot things when we went to different places that I needed in order to shoot content. So we had to make do with what we had. And I've done this multiple times whenever we've gone to Airbnbs, because sometimes you just can't fit everything that you need. And then you realize I needed that one little thing that is going to clamp it onto a table, and I don't have it. Then what else do I have? Nothing.
So again, we have to solve problems, but that is all part of the entrepreneur journey, I believe. And the way we succeed is by solving more problems. So I'm here to solve more problems.
How you solve problems is how successful you will become. Big believer in that.
I've also got this part for my microphone, but I don't have all the clips to tie it on. So
I literally imagine this. I literally had like 5 left shoes at this point. Like I had this, but I didn't have that bit that made this bit work. I had this, but I had that. I didn't have that bit that made that bit work. It was ridiculous.
It's difficult, but we will find a way. We're just going to find a way. That's the mindset I have to have, because I don't have a choice. I might put it in like a glass or something, or a bottle. Oh, I don't know. I'll figure something out.
That is the mindset you need. You have to figure it out. I'm a big believer in that. My mum hated me when I said it, but I said, we're going to figure it out. We didn't have the plan. We just said, we'll figure it out. But that has always worked, and I'm sticking by that.
Abby also hates us.
Say again?
Abby also hates us for being like that.
Why?
Because we never had things ready.
I had this conversation with someone the other day. I was like, I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It was a friend of mine. They reached out to me asking about how I'm dealing with the fact that we're having a child. And I said, well, I'm not thinking about when the baby shits itself, because I'm not even there yet. The bridge is over there. I said, I will literally cross that bridge when I get to it. When the baby shits itself, I will figure out how to change a diaper. I don't have a choice. I have to do it. I think that's actually a very positive mindset to have, because it doesn't matter what is thrown at you, you will figure out a way to solve the problem. And if you can do that, then it doesn't matter where you are in the world, who you're with in the world, what you're doing, you can figure a way to solve any problem. If that means, how do I turn this microphone on when I don't have the right cable? There's multiple solutions to it. There's not one solution and get the only cable that you have. You can go buy another one. You can go and borrow one. There's so many different things that you can do. When I didn't have a microphone, I would use my phone and I would enhance the audio with a plugin. There's so many different solutions to one problem. Figure it out. That's all I'm going to say. So everything's happening at once. We've got to leave our Airbnb in 2 days. We don't have anywhere to stay here. Then we've got to leave Morelia to go to Mexico City in how many days? On Sunday. We don't have an Airbnb either. This is the epitome of we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Like, we work very well together because we never have anything ready, but we always get whatever it is, it's always done. Don't care what it is. We never miss the deadline. We just don't always have it done 2 months in advance. Work is piling up like fuck. We're both stressed out. We haven't eaten today and it is 2:40.
1:41.
Oh, 1:41. 1:41. That became a normal thing for a while, that we wouldn't eat before 1 o'clock. That was usually breakfast time for us. This place here became my favorite restaurant. Still really like it. They got good food here. All right, but how we deal with it, we don't know. We breathe.
We hug each other.
And we don't get angry at each other, do we?
No.
We allow each other, we help each other in the moment of stress, and that's what helps us, I think.
We were going to go to Spain and then from Spain to UK, and it was
Why?
because it was cheaper according to us, but then they were like, no, because if we stay in Spain.
If we stay in Spain, then we have to go and get an Airbnb. I don't even know why we said Spain. But I remember that we had to go from Playa del Carmen to Morelia to the UK back to Morelia back to Playa del Carmen, because there was a whole vacation. You'll get into that story in a moment. Okay, 2 problems less. We've got the laptop working and we solved personal issues. 2 down, 10 to go. It was like getting like stressed and angry with work and then taking it out on each other. That's something that we said we would never do, because just because I'm stressed, it's not Katya's problem, and vice versa. And we do not get angry at each other when we're stressed, because that is a reflection of us. And this is something to men. This is all I can speak on because I'm a man. I highly recommend that you work out and you meditate daily, because those things, they reduce your stress levels and it makes you much more tolerant, especially when there's stress in your life. And you have to expect that there's going to be external stress in your life. You just have to be better at dealing with it. That's all I'm going to say. So this is an important message on knowing what you're doing if you're going to start a business around it. I've seen people before start a business and just immediately outsource. And for my business specifically, obviously, I am in the media space. Now, I am good at editing videos. I just am. I'm not the best. I know there's better people out there than me, and that's how my business is going to grow in the future. But currently, if people can't get things done quickly, I have to do them. I actually quite like this about being in business around something you have an expertise in. I know how long something takes, how much it should cost. Therefore, people can't screw me over. If you start a business because you're good at business, but you don't know the industry, that's where you can have problems. It's like, well, I don't know how much it costs. 7,000? Okay, whatever. Like, it is what it is. They're the little things that you learn from being in the industry, and that's the only way you're going to learn it. You can't rely on other people. Now you can give the control away to other people, and you should be able to give control away to other people, but you can't just rely on them. Now, that's something that I'm grateful for, that I have this skill, so that when it comes to me saying, I need it now, this depends on the talent. If the talent's not performing, the talent's not performing. Partly, I do think you should be able to rely on people, but I think it depends where you are on your business journey. At this point, we don't pay $100,000 a year salaries. So to be able to rely on someone, you need to be able to rely on a high performer to a level. Like, I can rely on Katya and she can rely on me, even though she's a nightmare. But when you're like, again, we still paid very well, if I'm being totally honest. Especially for the amount of money that we earned. We actually overpaid because we didn't even have that much money. We paid more than we earned, pretty much. So we paid well. especially in comparison to what we earn. So imagine what we do when we got more money. Therefore, relying on the right people will 100% make your business go faster. 100%. The problem is you have to be cautious who you rely on. Because if you rely on the wrong person, they could screw everything up. So you do need to be conscious with that. And if they are a reliable, not even necessarily a reliable person, but they actually know what they're doing. That's why I like, especially as a solopreneur, when we first started out, was that I could rely on myself to get the job done if the editor didn't do it. That was something we could count on. Because if not, then we get screwed over with the client because we haven't done the work. And they're like, well, where is it? And it's like, fair point. But if the talent is performing and they're just taking a bit of time, then I need to be able to do something about that. And I can do something about that. Yes, it puts stress on me, but I'm able to do it. And you need to be able to do that, especially if you want to grow bigger, because you need to know what you're doing. When I'm looking at people, I go, what are you doing? Are you doing it right? It shouldn't take that long because I know. I'm coming from experience, not a naive level of authority saying, get it done, needs to be done tomorrow. No, I know that takes 2 days. That's something I hated about bosses. And that is the whole reason I became an entrepreneur, is bosses would say this needs to be done tomorrow. I'm like, you don't even know how to do that. You're telling me that needs to be done by tomorrow or in the next hour, and I'm the only one doing it. Like, you don't do it, I do it. I know it doesn't take an hour. That's where I always wanted to be the fair boss, where I would say, I know this is going to take you 6 hours. If you get it done before, you don't have to work. I'm fine with that. I just want the project done. I don't care about how many hours you work. I just want the project done. That's how I like to do things. I think as the business develops, you have to adapt and go into more like hourly works. I really do believe that. But depending on what the role is, I think it really depends. I just know that takes 2 days versus something else that I know takes an hour, 2 hours maximum. Because like I said, I'm good, but I'm not the best. So it takes me a little bit of time to get things done. I don't know why I was filming Katia asleep. And then this is me ripping a t-shirt, realizing how difficult it was.
Oh my god!
And I love ripping t-shirts.
I'm telling you. Oh
my god!
And the other one was like a paper.
That was so difficult.
I told
The lady
you.
that cleans is gonna be like, why is there so many ripped t-shirts? Oh look, now I've got a cake.
I told you.
Gangster.
Babe, but the other one, you rip it like fucking paper.
Literally.
And this is when we stayed in a hotel. That was when we came back. Oh my God. So this is a whole story.